straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Episode 123 of the Everything Noob podcast. I am Vortak, joined this evening by Mr. Dreadlow. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am well. I am a YouTuber, he is a streamer, and together we make up, for now anyway, Everything Noob. Miss Jimmy is out sick this evening. We wish her all the best. You can tweet her at Jimmy
Definitely.
Games and yell at her to get better. Be as kind or as brutal as you need to be. Tonight, every show we pick a couple topics to discuss, and tonight we are discussing the Better Business Bureau ratings for Valve and the like, and also a canceled mobile game. So it may be a shorter show this evening. We'll just have to see where it takes us. Thanks for joining us live on twitch.tv, 10 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/enoobs. So let's jump right in. Valve didn't do too well. Dreadlow, the Better Business Bureau thinks they could do a lot better with their business, and they are a bureau of things. Who knows this?
Yeah, and it's really surprising to a lot of people. If you look at some of the comments, they're like, huh? Because it's like, and then there are obviously, got the ones that have had a bad problem with a game that they've downloaded or something. I think a lot of the people need to understand that Steam is strictly PC, and they've always been catering to the PC industry. And one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of their tech support and things were done through forums and through Reddit and through sources like that. So if you have a problem with a game or anything, you look on even the Steam forums and you'll see a lot of blue posts, which are the ones from the actual people who run Steam, and then you got the gold posts from the actual developers of the games. So there's always support there, which doesn't make sense to me. And I'm thinking it's because those people who contact via email or phone or whatever for tech support through Valve might not have as much luck as they would if they went to the forums.
No, you're right. And I think that people are used to that traditional way of reaching out to any company for customer support. There's usually somewhere on their website for customer support tickets, and you just send it in and they get back to you via email instead of having to check a forum.
I know that anytime I've had a problem, like I said, I just go to the Steam forums and there's always a solution. If there isn't a solution, if I post something, there's always a response right away. I mean, it's either by somebody that's writing in the forums, or it's actually, like I said, by a blue poster. One of the actual techs or whatever for Steam will actually, post something in regards to what you have or what you've questioned. But EA, on the other hand, they have a full-on support system where you get, I've heard of people getting full refunds. They had a problem with a game or a couple games, and rather than, EA just said, okay, we're sorry, and they gave them like the complete set or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've made up for it in that way. But Valve doesn't do that. As a matter of fact, their refund policy kind of sucks.
I've heard that you could wait weeks to hear back from them on even like a quick question about something, much less a refund. And yeah, we should preference this by saying EA got like almost a perfect score.
Right.
Whereas
and
Valve got an F.
And you'd think because of the Sims thing, that would like lower their rating considerably.
Yeah, but the one thing they did right in that whole fiasco, and this was like a couple years ago now, I think, or about a year ago now, since the SimCity game came out. One thing they did right was that they did botch it. They said, okay, you can get refunds. And then someone probably got yelled at for that. They're like, we're not giving refunds. And they tried to retract it, but people like shoved that back in their face. They're like, no, you said refunds. And I think eventually they had to kind of fold and give refunds to people who wanted them. I heard people were getting refunds. And when I buy something on Steam, there is nothing anywhere. It's like I look at Steam and I always kind of think all sales final. If I buy this, I'm keeping it. That's it. So I think EA, I can see it. I have a funny story about that whole EA customer service thing. I had Titanfall, and it was in Origin, And my dad wanted Titanfall. He's like, I'm thinking about getting Titanfall. Is it any good? And I said, I haven't really played it. I mean, I played it when it first came out, and I haven't really touched it. He's like, well, my friends are playing it. I wish there was a way that you could lend me or give me Titanfall. I mean, you don't have a hard copy, do you? I said, no, I don't have a hard copy. I have it in my Origin account. He went and emailed EA and said, told them what was up and said he would like to, if I'm not using it, take my copy of Titanfall. And they did it. Like, I went through all the steps they had me go through via email. They sent me all the instructions. I did it. And then the next day, Titanfall was gone from my library. That was it. They just took it and gave it to my dad.
Valve can do that very easily.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I think that right there is probably the majority. I mean, when you look at the actual BBB website and you look at the actual results of this, the majority of complaints were, actually the majority of the complaints were problems with product or service. But service could be anything.
That also
but a lot of
sucks.
it's billing and collection issues.
Yeah.
Delivery and
issues.
The majority of those are right.
514 complaints were related to problems with the product or service. I wonder if they really got screwed because of their early access program, and people were knocking their customer service because of they got burned on early access, which isn't Valve's fault. That's the developers' fault.
Developers
of that game. It's nothing to do with Valve. But where are people going to go? They don't know how to contact the developer. People who are kind of old school look at a service and say, I bought a game from you. It doesn't work as it was promised to work. Therefore, you are responsible. And I think that's fair. I mean, that's how people are going to look at it. That's how they design the website. That's how they design Steam. You look at Steam and you go, this is a product on Steam. Oh, here's everything the product is supposed to do. And someone who really may not understand early access might look at the description of the game and see the things they want to add, the developer wants to add, and take that as truth. Oh, I'm going to buy this. And then it never gets added, and the game gets scrapped, and now Steam is getting poor ratings. And Steam's like, we can't help you, sorry. So where do they go? The Better Business Bureau, and they complain. Because it's a great place to knock a business that is doing poorly. And now these ratings come out, which I've never even... I knew the Better Business Bureau did this sort of thing, but I never looked for it. And then the story came out. We'll post a link to it in the show notes on everythingnoob.com. And 717 total complaints for the, I guess, in the last 12 months. That's crazy.
That is.
And here's EA with a A+ rating, and Valve got an F.
See, here's another thing too. EA produces all the games that they've put on their store, right?
Yeah, they don't really let outside developers in, do they?
No, and Steam does.
They're
Steam gets right, and if Steam, publisher, and Steam, when they put a game on their client for you to buy, I'm not sure how the money trades hands. I'm guessing that Steam prepays for the game because I've seen items be out of stock or something, I think, on there. But they might prepay for the games, and if that's the case, that's probably the reason why they don't give out refunds, because they're the ones that would actually eat that, because the game's already prepaid for. I think if Steam had a system where if within 90 days somebody doesn't, or not 90 days, that's way too much, within even 30 days, if somebody didn't like the game, then Steam refunds the money, and that's taken from the developer's pool of whatever they've made. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the developer themselves are hit rather than Steam. And I think that would cause developers to be much more aware of what they're putting out there and not, try to, get as much as they can for a product that's not any good, because they're going to want to put out a good product so they can make more sales. But if there's no refunds, then they go, they could just go get an Unreal Engine and just throw something out there just real quick, put it up on Steam, sell a few copies of it, never have to get a refund, never have to give a refund, because Steam doesn't offer that.
People absolutely do that, and it's obviously hurting Valve.
Yeah.
At least their customer service ratings. Now, when I generally when I use Steam, I go into it with an understanding, as I said before. So if I buy an early access game, I don't hold Valve accountable if that game doesn't pan out. But
Right.
a lot of people don't really understand, how that all works.
Well, there's also people that will buy a game not realizing that their computer might not be able to handle that game. I mean, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was buying Far Cry 4, and he wanted to put it on his laptop. And I said, "There's no way that game's going to work on your laptop. You got to put that on a gaming machine with a good graphics card and stuff. Otherwise, it's just not going to work." And some people don't realize that. And I think a lot of people that buy games and it doesn't work on their system is probably because I've never had a problem. Of course, I've always had a gaming computer, so I've always had the graphics card and the CPU to handle it. So all the games I've ever purchased have always worked. Now, there's games that I didn't like
Yeah.
because it was crap, and it was not because of my gaming system, it was because the game was crap. And that's what the reviews are for, and that's what helps us decide. But I don't think it's Valve's fault that a game is crap. It's the developer's fault. However, Valve's the one that's allowing it on their clients, so they kind of fall victim to that as well. So,
Well, Valve says that they're going to do a lot of work. They're going to spend this year. I guess 2015 is going to be the year of the customer for them, and they're admitting that they have this problem. They're saying it would be foolish of us to, say, "Nah, you're wrong," and here's why, and try to throw us some like really weird stats. But they're saying, "No, you're right. We need to look at this and go, okay, how can we improve?" And I think there's a litany of ways they could absolutely improve. And you brought up a really good one that I hadn't even thought of. People not understanding system requirements. Valve lets you buy a game on Steam and it goes to your library, and then from there you decide if you want to download it, and that's when you discover it doesn't work on your computer. I think before you buy a game, something in the background should do like a quick, there's got to be a way to do like a quick scan of your computer, or maybe an option that says, "Hey, would you like us to look at your computer real quick to make sure it can run this game?" And, shoot you back something that says, "This game will run, but it's not going to do so great. You should play on low settings," or "This game isn't going to run. Are you sure you want to buy it?"
right, that could be a possibility. I don't think actually blocking it, because I have ordered or bought games off of my phone.
Yes,
for Steam.
exactly.
So
that
you can't actually hinder somebody from buying something because they could use it on a different device.
That's what has to be an option. Like if you buy it on your phone, it could warn you real quick and say, "By the way, you're buying this on a phone, idiot. Are you sure you want to do that if your computer sucks?"
Yeah, or you can upload, like you can get what they call a DX. It's like a log on your computer, a DX log, and they could always have you upload that to their system, and for each of the devices that you're going to probably play this game on, so it automatically knows your device settings and stuff like that. And then when you buy the game, it could say, "Hey, according to the hardware that you have listed here, this game would not work on it. Are you sure you want to buy it?" Something like that.
And someone in chat says most people who use Steam know what they're doing. And
Exactly. That's another thing too. People on Steam are PC users, and they know exactly where to go for the help that they need.
I'd say most of them, yeah. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah.
Most of them do, but we're not really talking about them. I'm sure there's an audience of people out there who just buy things from Steam and just see it as a storefront. They don't really know, they don't know the culture of Steam that much. We're talking specifically about people who don't know early access and buy early access games not really understanding what they're getting into.
Right.
And people who
But you can
buy things and not look at the specs first.
And you can go to GameStop and buy a DVD game, right? And then you come to your home and you put it in, say like it's the first game you ever bought. I did this with Left 4 Dead. That's how I got introduced to Steam. You put it in there and it says you need to activate this on Steam. Okay, so then you go, Steam, what's that? And it says download the client. You download the client, you go, okay, boom, boom, boom. It goes in your library. You go, oh, this is pretty cool. Now you got the Steam system. You go, oh, I can buy games from here. I don't have to go to GameStop anymore. So they just start clicking and buying stuff. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people out there like that who's not real computer savvy and doesn't really care about the specs of their computer or anything else. They just want to play games.
Yeah.
And I think,
I mean,
Steam needs to be much more aware of that.
work in retail for even a week in the electronics section of any retail store, and you start to realize people really don't know what they're buying when they get into computers. There's a lot of people who just want a computer that does things and stuff, and maybe they have a kid who wants to play games, and they haven't really talked about what kind of games they want to play and looked into what they need for that. And so they're like, I just want a cheap ass computer. My kid wants to play a couple games. I don't really know what I need. And so the person just sells them something. They go, that's too expensive. I'll get this cheap one. And now
go to
everyone's
Best
upset.
Buy and find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll sell you whatever they have on sale. They
Just-
don't really care if it's what you need.
Pay attention to someone buying a computer in Best Buy one day who genuinely looks confused. There are a lot of them. You'll find them. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of people out there, I'm sure, who've had this problem. So that could definitely contribute to a lot of these terrible, terrible reviews giving Valve a failing grade for the Better Business Bureau. I could say that I don't know how to contact their customer service. I don't look for it because I feel like I don't need to contact them, but from what I understand, it's kind of convoluted.
Yeah, and that could be their problem.
Process. Like it's not a clear cut, clear as day thing. When you go into Steam, there's a help and then there's Steam support. And now you're in this page like full of different things that try to guide you via like pre-written tutorials and guides.
FAQs, right.
And then at the bottom, get help from the community. They really push that. They really push go to our forums and have people help you there. It's better because we don't have the staff to help you or whatever the hell the reason is. That is not how you do things.
No.
It's great. The community on Steam is fantastic, and if you dive into their forums, you'll find a lot of awesome stuff there and a lot of people who are very helpful. But a lot of people don't. I only recently discovered that Steam has a very active forum community. I knew they had forums, but I didn't realize how big they are. If you're looking for an active gaming community and you have Steam, you already have an active gaming community. You just have to click over to it. I had no idea.
There.
Every game has its like own set of forums.
And a lot of your fixes and problems that you might have with a game or whatever, in the Steam forums, somebody's going to post a Reddit post or something on how to fix this or fix that, and so it's really easy. Like, I mean, try Skyrim from Steam, adding mods.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's hell. It's because it's a little bit more complicated because your Skyrim is not in its own folder anymore. It's in the Steam apps folder, and it's a little hard to find. If you don't have Nexus Mod Manager, you're kind of in trouble. You got to do it by hand. So it makes it a little bit more complicated. So you have to do research. You have to go into forums and talk to people. Now, if they had like a good support system where you can just talk to an online tech that's right there, like in chat or whatever, which I've seen lots of companies do, is they'll have a little chat, a live chat that's open during a certain time. You can ask questions. Oh, well, you go here. They'll put a link on how you can get to your apps folder, and boom, you're set. And I think, a lot of that needs to be done. But a lot of them are mentioning the refunds, and I think that's a big issue. Billing and collection issues is like the second thing on the list there is bad for their service.
I never had a problem with that. It keeps my card that I want it to keep, and I just click buy, and that's why it's so easy to buy from your phone or buy from whatever device. I've never had a problem with them collecting anything or anything like that. That's probably goes to the refunds. That's probably where those complaints come from.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And Valve really holds to that whole, like, this is the developer's fault, not ours, so don't ask us for a refund thing. They don't really dole out refunds too much, and these days that's kind of a mistake. Did you know you can go into Walmart and return something that you didn't buy there? You could.
I didn't know that.
Walk into Walmart. And I don't know. I haven't really tested this theory. I've been told it by a few people now. You can walk into Walmart with an item that's like broken, say, and you can be like, this doesn't work. I want to return it without a receipt or anything. And Walmart supposedly will take that back and give you money and store credit because it's better for them to kind of eat that and keep a customer happy than have you leaving there pissed off and telling all your friends
And then,
about how terrible their customer service is.
yeah, and it's store credit, so they have to go back to Walmart to purchase
Exactly. And now you're in Walmart walking around seeing all the new stuff. You're like, I got some store credit, and now you're going to spend more money because you have some free money.
I just thought of
some free
something.
Walmart bucks.
Steam has Steam Wallet. It's not actual money. And what they could do with a refund is they can just add the funds to your Steam Wallet, and then you can buy another game with it.
There you go. And they might do that already, and we just haven't really we haven't gone seeking any refunds. I don't seek refunds for Steam. Like I said, all sales are final for me. I'll buy a game and I'll do my research on it, purchase it. I won't even think about games that are a couple dollars. It's like going to a vending machine and buying a soda to me. I'll just buy it. I don't care. So yeah, they could use the help. They should be more responsive for people who want refunds. They should just give them, because most of the time people are gonna be like me. Most of their core customers are gonna be like I am. I just want games. If it sucks, my bad for buying it.
Right, and I think that you will know if it's going to suck like the first few days of playing the game. And I think if they gave like a time limit, even, say a week, 2 weeks, I mean at the most 30 days, and you can refund it. Another thing too is you mentioned something about EA being able to transfer a game from one user to another user. That would be an incredible feature. I've got tons of games that I don't want to play no more, or they're old or whatever. And that whole tradable, we were able to do that years ago. We can just take a game, go, I'm done with this game. I'm going to give it to my friend, and then he put it in his Xbox or whatever and play it.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Steam games, and that would be a big thing if they were able to do that. Just, trading games back and forth. I mean, they're not going to lose anything because your average person only has maybe a handful of friends that they could actually give it to and trade it to. And it can only be, it can only be traded once. Then you're limited. Now it can only be traded once. So I've got a lot of games that I could just trade to people or give to people because I don't want them, or gift them, Yeah. And then that can no longer be gifted or given anymore, And so it would just go one time. And that would be a good feature to add. So just like the new WoW thing where you can get game time tokens and you can only trade it once.
Yeah. And, Nebuchad, I think I'm saying your name right, says you can allow up to 5 people to access your Steam library. That must be a new thing. Which is pretty cool, but also it's not really the same thing. If I have a game and my friend has if we each have our own Steam library, they don't want to use my Steam library. They would rather use their own. So what Dreadlow's saying is if you're done with the game, you should be able to trade it with a friend like you can in real life. They already got their money for it. I mean,
yeah, it's already paid for. It's
as
just
long
that
as it leaves my library and goes to yours, it shouldn't matter.
Right. You can't play a game unless you're logged into Steam. So it's not like, you're always going to have the chance of somebody being able to hack something. You download the game. Hell, I could just go to torrent, and torrent a game without even going through Steam at all, if that's what they want to do about it. If you had some kind of a way of trading the game, I think that would eliminate a lot of this torrent stuff and this hacking. I don't know. I just think that would be a great customer service move right there. Refunds and being able to trade games or give games away.
Just being able to talk to someone when you're having a problem.
That too, yes.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who have issues with Steam, just like any program on a computer. Sometimes it doesn't open. Sometimes weird things happen. Sometimes you go through all this trouble and you have to reset your password and something still doesn't work. I mean, it's really difficult to contact somebody, and when you finally find out how, it takes days for them to get back to you, and now you're locked out of your Steam perhaps for days because their customer service is so unresponsive.
Right.
So I'm happy this happened because I love Steam, nothing against Valve. I'm happy this happened because this is going to force them to really pay more attention to it. So,
right.
I mean, how do you with a company like that, how do you get an F on customer service, especially when EA is pulling an A+? People hate EA. EA wins Worst Company of the Year award time after time after time from all these
But they
different people who
win the
rate
best
companies.
customer win the
different
best
companies.
customer service.
And yet they have the best customer service according to the Better Business Bureau, which has been around forever and is a very credible source.
Right.
So that sucks for them. That's not fun.
Wow.
But also Activision Blizzard, perfect rating as well. I have no idea how to contact them, but apparently they are really responsive. I never need to, again.
They really are. Actually, I've called them on occasion. There's one time when I couldn't deactivate my authenticator because I got one on my phone instead of the regular one, and I had called them, and they walked me through it. No problem. As long as you know your secret questions and whatnot. Now, I know in the past it's been very difficult. They wanted a copy of your driver's license. They wanted all kinds of proof. I don't know about now, but when I called, it wasn't that big of a process. As long as I answered those questions correctly, it was me. But it's the same thing with in-game and WoW.
With them, my account got stolen in World of Warcraft, and they were on it, and they apparently a whole bunch had gotten taken at that time. So I remember now. I did have one dealing with them.
Yeah, and there's in-game. What do they call them in game? They call them mods or some moderators or something like that in game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you just get in the client. I mean, you're on the client, you're in the game, and you have a problem or an issue. You can talk to them. They usually get back with you within 15 minutes, and it's actually somebody talking to you through chat. And they'll usually get with you right away. So yeah, they are very good at that. So
it's just about hiring people to do that. That's one of those people jobs, and people keep trying to take the role of customer service and outsource it to computers. And these massive FAQs
overseas.
that that are supposed to answer every question you could possibly have ever. And
they're not there. It's not always there.
The one thing you need, it's like everything around it is there, but not what you need. And that's how FAQs work for me. Sometimes
it's like, okay,
just have very specific questions, and it takes another person to answer them and comprehend what that person's saying.
Well, it's like I'm not to get off topic, but I just purchased a phone cover for my phone off of eBay, and it seemed like the person got a tracking number but never shipped it. So I thought, well, is this a scam? So I went through the eBay's help process, and there was nothing there. It says, do you need a refund? I click refund. Well, you can't refund because your item's already been shipped, but it hadn't been shipped. It showed as being shipped because there was tracking. So I had to actually physically call them and get it straightened out. Within 24 hours, the eBayer finally sent the product, and I got it like within 3 days. But I mean, it's like those FAQs sometimes are more annoying than anything else. You might as well just look on the forums, and see if somebody's had the same problem and fix it that way. But yeah, so I'm sure that Valve is going to improve it. I don't think they're going to just throw fluff up our butts and just pretend to do stuff. I think they will. Valve has always been a pretty good company, although there's a lot of what do they call them, Gabe haters?
I don't really follow that whole side of it. I just know that when Valve sets their minds to something, they do it right. Everything else I've seen them do and try to achieve, it's done well, it's done right. And I mean, I'm sure we could think of examples of times they didn't do things right, but I mean, for the most part, I love the big picture thing they added. I love
everything.
I don't use it a whole lot, but it's a nice feature. I'm sure plenty of people get use out of that. And it just, it's nice.
I might be biased, but I love Steam. I really do. I think they've done an excellent job of what they're doing. I don't know this customer service stuff because I really don't need to deal with them. I always deal through the forums like they actually suggest. Yeah. And I get more help that way than I do anything else. It's just some people don't have access to all that stuff. And like I said, they just buy a game, they put it in, and it doesn't work, and they flip out. They don't know what to do. They can't find customer service. They don't realize they can just go to forums and they can find the answer there, or Reddit or whatever.
The problem with forums is that you're dealing with people who, there's a lot of them there who think they know better than everyone else, and they think they know exactly what's happening to you, and they write this long, drawn-out response, and you read it, and you're like, I already tried all these things. This person's just wasting my time. Now I gotta wait for another person. I gotta tell this person I already tried it, thanks, and wait for another person to come along. And that person's like, well, I don't think you did, because this fixed my problem.
I just overall Google it, and it usually takes me to a forum post somewhere.
Yeah.
But the like system on some of those posts, though, help too. If there's a lot of likes on it, then you know that it was something that was worth it. And at the end of any of those posts, it usually says, did this actually help you? Yes or no, and you can comment back. But yeah, I think a real person, having contact with a real person from Valve is a lot better than having to go through the forums. So
I agree.
They do definitely need to improve on that.
I agree.
And the refunds.
And refunds. And everything else that got them an F rating.
Yeah, that's pretty sad, man. They're a great company. It was a shock when I saw it. I'm going, what? I was like, what? Yeah, that's odd.
Well,
never would have thought.
There you have it. We will be linking to that story in the show notes. So you can check out in detail what exactly happened with Valve and why they're doing so poor in customer service. Another little story I found, which I didn't even know this was happening. I don't know if do you ever play any of the Kingdom Hearts games?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, I don't have a Nintendo system.
PlayStation.
Or is it PlayStation?
Yeah, the 3DS had a version of it, and
I didn't have a
Game Boy
PlayStation.
as well.
Yeah.
But there was going to be a mobile version of the game, and it got canceled. But people are free. It's kind of, I've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 since I got a PS3. I thought for sure it was going to come out on the PS3 because both the first two games came out on the PS2. I'm like, okay, we'll definitely see number 3 on the PlayStation 3. And we didn't. But the third one's supposed to come out maybe this year. And this little mobile game was canceled. But the reason people are freaking out about it is because it showed Star Wars stuff in it, which is Disney.
Oh.
If you don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts, it's a game where they take like Final Fantasy style characters and throw them into a Disney world, and you can actually hop between all these different Disney worlds. And now that Disney owns Star Wars, people have speculated that Marvel and Star Wars will make an appearance in Kingdom Hearts.
Well, do you think it? You think it might be because of the fact that there's. The thing is with a lot of your mobile markets, they have those in-game purchases. That's what really makes them money.
Ugh.
And maybe they don't want to go that route. They just want to charge people for the game and they play it. But unfortunately, nobody's going to spend, say, whatever the cost would be for a game. Like usually it's like $9.99 or something like that. So they probably felt as though nobody would buy it.
There's literally no word on why it was canceled. I don't know. I pulled it up because it was just kind of interesting to me for those Kingdom Hearts fans out there that we're probably going to see Star Wars come into play. And I think that's going to be a little bit weird because a lot of Disney movies are very, I don't know, Disney. Like Aladdin and Tarzan and Lilo and Stitch and all these things were in the game. I feel like Star Wars and Marvel are kind of separate entities from that. They're just owned by Disney. They're just Disney's property now, and I think it'd be really weird to go into a Star Wars world in Kingdom Hearts when your tag-alongs are Donald and Goofy.
I think they'd make it more like the the Star Wars cartoon.
Oh, the Clone Wars.
Yeah, they'd make it more like that. I think that the characters would look more like that than they would, say, the movie. So if they were going to do something like that, I think it would be more like that.
Yeah, I mean, Frozen's going to be in there probably. People said that Frozen was also kind of shown in this canceled game. So no surprise there. That thing. Now, see, that's a Disney project. I would assume that Frozen would be a part of it. But,
right. I think they want to really stick with a console version of their games.
Yeah,
maybe.
I got Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS, and it's the closest you'll get to playing a game that was like the PS2 versions. Because it's in the same perspective, and the controls are, and the combat system is very similar to those games. So I was pretty happy with that game. But the Game Boy ones and stuff, they're just kind of like Game Boy games. They weren't really, you know.
They might also feel that there will be too much of a problem with hacking or stealing, the game rather than paying for it. And you can do that pretty much on any device other than a console. Console's a little bit more difficult, but maybe that could be a factor too. Just the copyright situation, or the.
I simply just wouldn't want to buy a mobile version of that game. I just think it's unnecessary.
That
I wish
too.
they would stop wasting time making all these handheld versions and just make Kingdom Hearts 3 already. Like,
Yeah,
it's really
why not do
good
that?
games. I never had more fun playing like a linear kind of game like that than when I played Kingdom Hearts. Like it feels like a hack and slash. You just go through, and the combat's probably my favorite in it. And you would expect a game by Square Enix that makes Final Fantasy and turn-based fighting to be turn-based, but it's not. You just go in and just wreck.
Oh, it's full-on action.
It's really
Oh,
satisfying. That's what I remember most about it.
I love games like that.
Yeah, that's why I like the 3DS one as well. They kind of kept that, wrecking, hacking, and slashing in the game. So, just kind of an interesting story. But another big gaming story that I saw that people are still freaking out. Cities, skylines.
Oh yeah, I heard that the new one. The only change, there's only like one. It's the only one difference in the new one than as with the older one. I forgot what it was, but it was like very disappointing for people who had the older one. They bought the new one thinking that they were going to get different content, more better performance, when actually it wasn't any different. So we're kind of disappointed in it. I don't know.
I'm not hearing that at all.
No?
I'm seeing people say that City Skylines is what SimCity should have been.
Oh, okay.
I'm considering buying it. My favorite part about it is it's $30. It's half the price of SimCity, and it's supposed to be everything and more that SimCity is.
Well, I saw a video of somebody playing it, and when they went to go stretch out a road, it literally, the FPS went to 0. They kept stretching it out. And supposedly only when you're making roads. And this was something that should have been. It was a problem, I guess, in the older version of the game, and this was something that should have been fixed in this game, but it was still there, and that was the big problem. Yeah, you might want to watch some videos on it and see.
I might, because I'm kind of skeptical to buy it. I already have SimCity. I really enjoyed playing it, even with all its problems at the time. I still had a lot of fun playing SimCity, but I did ultimately get kind of bored. But they've done 500,000 in sales, and it's kind of unclear if that is copies of the game sold or dollars made. Just based on this tweet, it looks like we broke the 500K barrier. Huge thanks to every single chirpy who has supported us so far. I don't know if that's what they call their Twitter followers.
Right.
So I don't know if that is games sold or dollars made. Either way, very impressive, and I'm pretty happy for him because it's a nice, solid lesson to EA, and it goes to show that people wanted a city building game, a city management game, and SimCity wasn't, it wasn't worth shutting down Maxis. Someone composed a tweet like that, but better said.
Now I could be. You know what? I could be. Is there another cities game?
It's
like SimCity.
If you go into Steam, it's the one that's like taking up the whole front page, or it was the other day. Cities,
right?
Skylines.
Right, but there was another one. I might be talking about a different one then.
Oh,
because it says overwhelmingly positive, which is really bizarre. But there might have been another one. Might not even be on Steam, that had a previous version, and all they did was they added one aspect of the game, and then they never fixed the performance issues. So I'm guessing that I might be mixing it up with a different game. There's a lot of city building games out there. I'm hoping that was what, because it's overwhelmingly positive according to Steam. So
Yeah, I'm really considering getting it, and if I do, I'll probably. Someone was asking me on my channel to make videos of it, which would be pretty cool. But I feel like tons and tons of people are doing that too. So we'll have to see. I'm pretty stoked because I've been kind of feeling the itch to play SimCity again, but I haven't wanted to because no one's really playing SimCity, and the multiplayer stuff was kind of fun. But now that none of my friends are playing it, it's like kind of lonely.
okay, here it is. Owner of Cities XL. There's Cities XXL. This is the one. It's not Cities. See how they're almost the same. I don't know if it's the same developer, but
It might be.
Cities XL was first. Okay,
Yeah.
and then they came out with Cities XXL, and they only added one aspect to the game, and the performance issues still existed, and it's mostly negative. So it can't be the same maker. So I mixed that Cities XXL. If anybody heard me say Cities Skylines is not the same as Cities XXL, I mixed the two up. It's obvious reasons why I did that because they're both called cities.
Yeah.
So
Well, it is. I should clarify
retract
too.
what I said.
It's single player, and SimCity was not. And I like the multiplayer in it, but I don't know. Either way, city management game sounds like a lot of fun, and I might get it. We'll just have to see. So even the deluxe version is only $10 more, so that's $40 for the deluxe version.
Ooh, and it's a whopping $39.99.
Yeah.
Not for Cities Skylines, but the Cities XXL. Now I see why people are disappointed. But yeah, so
If you scroll down, the developer, does it say Colossal Order Ltd?
this is completely different publisher and developer.
Okay.
So it's not the same people. Do not mix up
I
Cities
assumed it was the
XXL
same.
with Cities Skylines.
Back,
How did they get away with naming it Cities? That's what I want to know.
yeah, just it looked like they were playing off the same title and everything. Cities : Skylines instead of Cities XL.
Yeah, it's weird, huh? Okay, well, they all got.
Neat.
I'm glad that got retracted.
Yep. There you go. You've corrected yourself.
All right, good. I'm glad.
So I'm like I said, I'm pretty excited about that because anything that not hurts, but anything that kind of shows EA they've been doing things wrong is a welcome change in my book.
They might have good customer service, but everything else sucks.
God, they're greedy. They're so greedy, and they shut down Maxis.
Yeah.
Left one of my favorite developers out of work.
Hopefully they'll continue to
we
create Sims.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, but I'm still concerned about the future of like Sims games. The Sims 4 was so much better than I thought it would be, and I'm worried that it's not going to be like that when they go ahead and make Sims 5 next year or something, stupid like EA does.
Yeah.
But we'll
It
see.
will be it's specifically an EA game now. It won't be EA Maxis.
Well, I think that about does it. I think we've covered all the things in the stuff.
All right.
So
Sounds good.
you can check us out all over the internets. I've been playing. What have I been playing? I've been playing Rising World again on my YouTube channel, and as well as some Smooth Operators and some Minecraft. So
I've been streaming Rising World every Wednesday night on Hitbox. So if you want to watch it, it's usually right around this time. I'll be streaming it. Also, actually a little later than this time, about an hour or so later. But also, you mentioned a new game. I've been messing with a new game called Savage Lands. Savage Lands? I think it's Savage Lands. It's a cool little game. It's kind of like The Forest meets medieval times. It's different. There's a big dragon in it. I'm not sure what he has to do with it, because I haven't been able to coax him to attack me or anything, so who knows. But he's up there on a tower waiting to kill. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's cool. You can find Dreadlow on hitbox.tv/DreadlowGaming, right?
Right.
And
Also on my YouTube channel, which I haven't really uploaded a video in a while, but that's also Dreadlo Gaming. Everything is Dreadlo Gaming. You can find me anywhere. Twitter, dreadlogaming.com. You can find everything. How's that?
And yes, and you can find all of us on everythingnoob.com. We post blogs, podcasts, videos. There's forums. We have a little gaming community. People getting together, playing games, things like that. And also,
all of our links are there too.
Yes. And you can find me, Vortec Vids. Just search on YouTube. Easy enough.
Yep.
So, all right.
And Jemmy Games as well.
Yes. Miss Jemmy Games. I heard she might make a video soon.
Good.
So we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully she recovers and we see some more stuff from her. So follow us on the Twitters and the YouTubes and the Hitboxes and the Twitches and wherever you want to follow us. And I guess, yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Everything Noob podcast.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Everything Noob podcast. Hit up everythingnoob.com for our show notes, blogs, YouTube and Twitch channels, previous episodes, and even a t-shirt store. Please game responsibly, and we'll see you next week.